All right, so now we're moving into some new territory. That we're going to simplify each expression and assume all variables are positive real numbers. So this time, we're not just dealing with numbers, we're dealing with variables. So here I have the square root of x squared. So the square root of x squared is like it's asking, what number times itself gives you x squared? Well, we already know that, right? We know that x times x gives you x squared. So that means the square root of x squared is just x. And since we're assuming it's a positive number, we don't have to put plus or minus or anything like that. All right, let's try one that's a little more complex. So I have square root of 45w to the third power. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is break this up. This is going to be square root of 45 times the square root of w to the third power. Now, let's look on the number first because we already know what to do with that one. Square root of 45, what perfect square goes into 45? 9. Square root of 9 times square root of 5. So this is going to become 3 root 5. Good. Now over here with the w to the third power, I'm going to break this one up too. I'm going to break this up as the square root of w squared times w, because w squared times w is w to the third power. And I can take the square root of w squared the same way we took the square root of x squared up here. So the square root of w squared is w, and we can't take the square root of just w, it stays like that. So now how do you write your final answer? We have 3 root 5 w root w. The way I'm going to write this, 3w, that's the parts that are outside of the square root. And then I'm going to put together the parts that are inside the square root. And this is my final answer. Okay, so once again, I took the ones that are outside, I put them together, and then I took the ones that were inside the radical sign and put those together. And that's how you write your answer. Okay? Let's try one more. Okay, now for this one, we simplified 28 earlier today, right? So we should remember that one. So I'm going to separate this first. So square root of 28 times square root of y to the fourth. All right. So square root of 28, remember we broke this up earlier, it was square root of 4 times square root of 7. Square root of 4 is 2, so I have 2 root 7. Over here, I have y to the fourth power. Now y to the fourth power is a perfect square. What times itself gives you y to the fourth? Y squared. The way that I like to think about it, this is a square root. I imagine there's a little 2 here, even though there isn't. We could always write one in. This is the square root. So I do 4 divided by 2, and I get 2. If I did it in this problem, if I have a little 2 over here, 3 divided by 2, it goes in once with a remainder of 1. See that? So anyway, that's how I keep it straight. So now I just need to write my final answer. So for this one, I'm going to take the part that's not inside the radical sign, 2y squared, and then the part that is in the radical sign, the 7. And that's my answer. Okay, and then this one, here's your try it problem.